All right, let's talk about quitting, because quitting is something that I think people struggle with a lot, really in everywhere in life, but we're talking about business, specifically in business. How many people have quit in tenacity over 13 years?
A lot. I don't think I could even guesstimate.
Thousands.
Thousands, you think?
Thousands. For sure. For sure. Just based off our numbers, it has to be thousands.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think there's
But-
turnover in
Yeah, there's
any
a difference
industry.
between starting and
staying.
and actually like starting, you know. So so when it comes to actual players, I mean it's a very small number. But why do people struggle with quitting so much? Because quitting is something that it's a habit. I believe it's a habit. I believe quitting is something that people learn how to do sometimes at a young age. And as we grow into adulthood, we just become professional quitters.
Well, why do you think people quit?
Well, I mean, if you think about, because I always know when someone's quitting in business, because either number one, they don't answer you anymore, or number two, you just get this long text message, and you're like, the second you see long text, instantly you already know.
Right.
I think that quitting, it starts in school. You know, you quit the soccer team because you didn't like the coach. Then you get to high school and you quit the soccer team because you didn't like your teammates. And then you get to, you join a club and you quit that because it's boring or it takes too long. You get to college, you quit because it's hard. I mean, just it's a series of things. You get your first job, your second job, your third job, and you just quit. And then you get to business, and it's easy to quit because you've done it so many times. And a lot of times as adults, you've even gone from business to business to business to business, and they're business hoppers. Like I was talking with one of our teammates right now, who had a lady that quit, who has a teammate who's doing really well, right? So when she quit, obviously she didn't expect this person to do well, and now the lady who had quit, she's selling water or something.
Water?
Yeah, like a water machines or I don't know, something. And it's just like it's a you quit one thing because you don't have time, but then now you're doing something else. So it was never really the problem, right? It's just that I hop from thing to thing. I'm a business hopper. The same way people are church hoppers, and some people are friend group hoppers, and some people are relationship hoppers, right? Respectfully, right? If that's possible. And so it just becomes, I don't know, normal for people. It's easier to quit, I think, sometimes than it is to face the hard of making something work.
Yeah, I feel like I see that a lot too. But like you said, it happens in every area of life. So what are the downfalls to quitting? Other than obviously you are preventing yourself from fully seeing something through with all the benefits, with all the ups, the downs, the learning experience. But what are the downfalls of just quitting everything?
Well, when I look at quitting, here's the way I look at it. I go, because when I started business 13 years ago, it never, sometimes people say, oh, everyone's thought about quitting at some point. I don't think that's true. I have never thought about quitting. Not even once. Not for half of a second have I ever thought about quitting. Were there times in my career when I wasn't making a bunch of money and I was worried about money? 100%. But did I ever consider quitting? No, because that made no sense. I considered at points getting another job to do serving tables, in the evening to try to just make enough money to keep me afloat, and doing it far away where I would never run into anybody who I knew. 100%. But did I ever consider quitting? No. The reason why is because when I started in business for a reason. I went into entrepreneurship for a reason. I didn't want to have a job. Because if I have a job, all I'm doing is working for someone else who probably had a job at one point too. And this person decided, you know what? I'm going to work for myself and I'm going to start a company, right? And now I'm the guy working for that guy, right? So like, I went into business because I didn't want a job. I didn't want a 9 to 5. I didn't want to be stuck on a fixed income. I wanted an opportunity to work for myself and grow something big. If that thing gets hard, fine. But where in the hell does it make sense for me to quit? Because if I quit now I'm giving up every single thing that I wanted when I started. And so I always look and I go, here's my goals. Quitting does not get me to my goals. So if I quit, what I'm doing is I'm surrendering those goals. Like, you know what? Those goals are not things I really wanted anyway. And so I'm out.
You're negotiating the price.
Yeah, because it's not, quitting doesn't get me to my goal faster. All quitting does is remove my opportunity of getting to my goal, right? So for example, like in our industry, when people quit, they quit because, there's a couple reasons why. Number one, no mental toughness. My friend told me blah, 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 right? And so they're so easily influenced by somebody else who probably has no clue what they're talking about, but they have an opinion that they believe in more than this person believes in their own self-confidence to make something happen, right? So I get influenced by someone else, I quit. Or they quit because they started a business and they called their list of 20 friends and family members and it didn't go as good as they thought it was going to go and they quit. Or they fail their exam and they quit. Or they feel like they're too busy, and because they feel like they're too busy, what do? They quit. Like there's so many basic stupid reasons why people quit. Here's the one thing that happens when you quit. I think you quit and you're left with nothing but regret. That I don't see how someone quits and they're left with satisfaction. You don't quit and then feel good about it.
Never.
Like,
you might feel good initially because you're all that pressure that you've been maybe putting on yourself, right?
That's what it is. You lost the pressure.
Yeah. So you may feel good momentarily, but you didn't get any closer to any of the things that you really want. You're just trying to convince yourself that you're okay without them.
Yeah, or you think you're going to go find them somewhere else. Like the person who said, I'm going to go sell water machines. Like, really?
You're trying to find an easier way to
Nothing
get to where
against
you want to
water.
go. No.
Like I drink at least a gallon of it every day. But I'm going to I'm going to give up this and now I'm going to go do that? Like, what in the world? How does that make any... Like, there's 1,000,001 reasons I could tell you that was not a good decision. Mm-hmm. You know, but when you quit, yeah, you lose the pressure. But here's what I was telling someone this morning. I said, quitting just crushes your soul. Because you don't lay in bed... There's a difference between, like, I started in business... Now I quit my job. That's different because it's a job. Mm-hmm. But to quit on something that's good for you, like no one on their fitness grind goes, this is hard, I'm going to quit. And then they quit and then they lay in bed eating a cheeseburger and they go, oh, I'm so glad I quit. Like, no, it doesn't ever feel good to quit on something that's good for you. Mm-hmm. It only leaves you with regret. And it crushes your soul. What do I mean by it crushes your soul is it kills your self-confidence.
Yeah, and self-confidence is everything. It helps you navigate through every situation that you're ever in.
I'm trying to think of like, because you meet someone who's really confident and you go, where does confidence come from? Why is that person so confident? Maybe a couple places. Maybe they have a really good childhood, right? Where they got encouraged in everything they wanted to do. Mom and dad were always in the picture, rooting for them, cheering them on. Grandma and grandpa were at all their events, cheering them on. Like, everyone always believed in them, so they had real good support systems, so they grew up believing in themselves, so they got some self-confidence. But then you look at someone who doesn't have self-confidence. Now, it may be because they had the complete opposite of everything I just described. But also, every time you quit on something or you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, that automatically ruins your confidence. Because now it's one thing to have doubts, but dude, now like you don't even trust yourself. You're like, I'm gonna follow through, and in the back of your head, you're like, yeah, right, bro. When's the last time you followed through with anything?
Right. You have to be really strict with your word. Mm-hmm. Self-confidence is built by keeping the promises that you make to yourself.
Right.
And the more that you don't keep those promises, the worse your self-confidence is going to be. You know, like he said, you're saying it like, hey, I'm going to do the X, Y, and Z, but your head's like, well, you've never done it before, so you're probably going to quit anyways.
And so if you could break that pattern and go, okay, I'm going to get this done and then do it, I really believe that that's how you start to grow a positive self-confidence and positive self-esteem. It's by little tiny things. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. Like it could be as simple as, all right, my house is a disaster. Mm. And then it gets overwhelming and you're just like, God, man, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where you're just like, there's just no way. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so then let's break it up into something small. You know, every day I'm going to attack one room of the house, and then in a week my house will be clean, you know? And it's just like the little tiny boosters on a daily basis. And that's what business is. Since we're talking about business, it's incredible to me when people just give up on everything. When giving up just takes you right back to where the hell you were before you started here. And people quit on things for the same reason they start things. Mm-hmm. You know, why do you start in business? Well, I have no time with my kids. I don't make enough money. I never get to see my family. I have to miss too many things. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then a week later when they quit, they're like, what do you mean you quit? Yeah, dude, I just never have time with my family. I never have time with my kids. I have to miss too many things. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So the same reason you started is the same reason you're quitting, which means by default, you're right back left to the life you had before you got here.
Yeah, nothing changes unless you change it.
Nothing changes. And so the problems of life don't go away, only the opportunity to fix those problems.
Yes.
You know, because this for me was my way out of being broke. This was my way out of being unhappy. This was my way out of being just existing, right? Like not living a life that necessarily feels purposeful every day, right? I'm not saying like a life without purpose, but I'm saying is if I'm going to a mundane career where I do the same thing every day and it doesn't really matter to anyone whether I'm there or not, I'm collecting a paycheck. Like for me, this was an opportunity to go, you know what? I could do something that actually makes some real tangible impact that I could see. And imagine if I quit every time it got hard.
We would never get anywhere.
No. And real quick, touch on how do you build mental toughness, right? Because people sometimes ask that. They say, how do you build mental toughness? You know, I want to be tough. Because that's kind of, we live in a very soft world where people are very soft. Mm-hmm. And things get a little bit hard and there's this pushback, I quit. Or people lack, I'm trying to not give my opinion. I'm using like words that people have said to me. Like they lack drive, they lack discipline, they lack follow through, they lack the motivation, right? Like when someone asks me like, how do you stay motivated to go network and prospect every day? I'm like, dude, you're fucking broke. Mm-hmm. That should be enough motivation. Like your bank account has almost nothing in it. You're almost overdrawn, or you are. Mind you, you're 10, 15, 20 grand in credit card debt maybe. You're buried in student loan debt. You can't buy a car. You can't qualify for a house. Like your credit sucks. And you hate your freaking job. Like to me, that's all the motivation. Like what possible motivation could be stronger than that? But some people, that's not enough. You know, they lack that mental toughness, right? To stick to something every day. So how do you build mental toughness?
I'll be honest, reading is great. Reading is a good foundation. But reading about mental toughness and how to strengthen it, That's going to help you when things are good, right? Those are building blocks that you can use when things are good. But really where you build and exercise your mental toughness is when you go through hard things and you push through them and you come out on top.
And don't quit.
You don't quit. Yeah, exactly. You don't quit. You push through it and you become successful. You win in your own way. But every single time that you don't do that, you don't gain anything from it. It just hurts you. And so practicing, even through the little minor inconveniences of life, practicing mental toughness, patience, compassion, resilience, tenacity, practicing those things on a daily basis, that's how you're going to get where you want to be.
And I think it's easy to do that if you could adapt a so what mentality, right? Which is, okay, everything right now sucks. All right, so what? It is what it is. I was talking to someone the other day who said that they feel lost. Actually, someone told me that today on an appointment. They said they just at a point where they feel lost and asked what I think they should do. And I said, I think so much disappointment of life comes from the fact that we think in our mind life should look like this. And so that's the image of what we think it should be. But the reality is that that's not how it looks. Instead of life being where I'm happy and I could do whatever I want and I'm rich and I have all the opportunity and freedom to do everything I want and life is good and everyone's nice to me and everybody loves me and life is perfect. Like that's the image that we want. But then the reality is like I hate my job, I'm broke, blah, 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 whatever, right? And I said, the disappointment comes from, it's not actually from life. It's from the fact that the way you think life should be is not the way that life is. And that gap is where you're frustrated. And so I said, sometimes it's okay if everything's not okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best thing you could do is you go, you know what? Well, this is a shithole and everything sucks. And all right, cool. It is what it is, and just kind of accept it for a second and go, okay. Instead of fighting it, like, all right, this is my reality right now. Cool. I'm screwed. Now, what can I do to actually change it? Versus just being mad and being frustrated and then giving up on everything. It's just like, you know what? Let me just own this for a second because I got myself here. And now how can I fix it, right? And for me, even though I wasn't conscious and aware of I'm broke, I'm frustrated, like whatever, like I wasn't in a mental space where I identified all those things in the moment. But when I got an opportunity though, because mind you, this is the only business opportunity I've ever really had. Mm-hmm. I haven't gone from thing to thing. Like I sold Cutco knives right out of high school. By the way, I killed it. But that crap, I'm not going to say anything negative about it. I'm just going to say I did not get paid what I was supposed to get paid. And so I was like, all right, well, in that case, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I was slinging knives like a freaking knife salesman. I was killing it. And I actually really liked the product. In fact, when we got married, the first thing I did, right, is I said, I'm going to find someone who sells Cutco. And I'm going to go buy a set because I can't imagine ever having any other knife in my kitchen, having been introduced to that company. But that was my only thing. Then I went from there. I got a job at LA Fitness selling gym memberships. Mm-hmm. Freaking killed it. I sold a ton and I didn't make no damn money.
No.
And I was like, okay, screw this. Love the gym, still go there, but wasn't good on the sales side. The comp plan sucked. I'm never going to make money doing this. Mm-hmm. Then I got in the fire department and then got recruited here. And so it was like, this was really my one stop. But I was very clear on something. If I want to make it big, everything lines up for me to do that here. So whether it's hard or not, I'm going to figure it out. Whether it's always fun or not, doesn't matter. I'm going to figure it out. Whether everything goes perfect or not, I'm going to figure it out. And the one thing that I could tell you for sure is hell was never going to impact whether or not I do well here is my life circumstances. Because I don't care if anyone gets sick, someone dies, someone hates me, there's a family catastrophe. Like, that's life, but that was never going to impact whether I make it in business.
This
Never.
too shall pass.
Exactly. And that was the last thing I told that person. I said, listen, the reason you can sit back and own it for a second is because you know it's not permanent. It's maybe what's going on today, but it's not permanent. You know, and so no life circumstances, no family drama, no emergency, no friend drama, and sure as heck, no pay raise or promotion at my job was ever going to dictate whether or not I make it in business, because business is going to give me freedom for life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quitting is long term, right? You quit, that's it. And if you quit because of a temporary situation that you're in, it just doesn't make sense.
It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. It's a bad habit. Quitting the first time in anything for everyone, I think, is a little more difficult. And then it's so routine where people are just like, that's it, I quit. Mm-hmm. I quit. Like the first time I ran a stop sign, just like, whoop. Dude, I was scared to death. I stopped, look around.
In
you're
theory.
like, oh my God. Yeah, but not through an intersection. I mean like a little, California roll right turn.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Yeah, I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
Fiction. First time, you're like, stop, looking around. Terrified, right? You're like, oh, okay, go. And then later on, you're just like, right on through,
I would like to say I don't relate.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I don't.
Somebody on here listening relates. The first time, scary. Quitting then, people, man, they quit on things so fast. They quit on everything. From business to jobs to relationships to, just everything. It's just part of society now. But it ain't a recipe for winning.
Nope.
All right. I'm out. I don't have a microphone. It's all good.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, follow our producer, DJ Just J. And yeah, love you guys.
And we're accepting all thumbs downs.
No, don't do that.
All right,
so
y'all.
not nice.
We're out. Later.
Bye.